Hello there, YouTube. It's been a hot second since I made anything especially for you guys, and I'm really sorry for that. I am working on some projects, I promise. Highlight reels, highly edited, produced content, etc. It's just, editing is really bloody hard, and anyone who says otherwise is lying. Anyway, though, I wanted to make something quick here to tell you about a crazy new discovery that came out a couple months ago, and I only just found about this week. There appears to be a hitherto unknown mention of North America in medieval Italy. And that's really freaking cool. So, gonna try something a bit less edited this time to tell you about it. If you like it, make sure to leave a comment to let me know so I can make more content like this. As always, do consider supporting the show by subscribing, spreading the word, and I will see you guys hopefully soon with more edited stuff. New North America just dropped, so get excited. According to this article, published a couple of months ago, there is a new mention of North America in a medieval Italian document. This is a big deal. We're going to talk about why. To give a bit of background though, Leifur Eriksson and his brother-in-law Thorfinnur Karlsefni traveled from Greenland to North America on two separate voyages around the year 1000. The colony is short-lived, it's abandoned by 1014 according to the oral traditions that produced two textual sagas. But we have the site, it's Lansdowne Meadows in Newfoundland, it was discovered in about 1960, so we can say with some confidence that Leif Erikson and his brother-in-law traveled there. But to get there, they first sailed past Hetluland, a land that according to both sagas is covered in huge flat stones, then Markland, a place full of trees, and then they finally reached Vinland. So, after the identification of Vinland as Lansdowne Meadows, Newfoundland, the usual identification of Hetluland and Markland have become Baffin Island and the coast of Labrador, respectively. And it's the second one, Markland, that's particularly relevant today. According to this article by Paolo Chiesa, published in Terrae Incognitae in July 2021, a manuscript of Galvano Flama's Chronica Universalis, a partial world history first identified in 2013, identifies Markland in his geography. Now, Galvano is a known author from the period he lived in Milan. This is the only copy known of the Chronica Universalis, though, which is probably one of his last works. It was first identified in 2013 in a private collection, and this is the only manuscript of it. So this is quite literally a brand new discovery. My understanding of how this worked is in 2013, they got permission from the private collector who owns the manuscript to look through it and identified this as a unique text. So then they got permission to photograph it, and are in the process of making an edition when they found this passage. To read at length from the translation of the article, which starts right about here, our authorities say that under the equator there are very high mountains, where there are temperate settlements made possible by the winds or by the shadow of the mountains or by the remarkable thickness of the walls or by underground caves in valleys. At the equator, there are also many islands that are truly temperate because of the rivers or marshes or the winds, or for reasons that are unknown to us. And for a similar reason, there are settlements beneath or around the Arctic Pole, despite the very intense cold. These settlements are so temperate that people cannot die there. This fact is well known for Ireland. The reasons why this happens are unknown to us. Marco Polo speaks explicitly about this when he says that there is a certain desert 40 days across where nothing grows, neither wheat nor wine, but the people live by hunting birds and animals, and they ride deers. Further northwards, there's the ocean, a sea with many islands where a great quantity of peregrine falcons and gyrfalcons live. These islands are located so far north that the polar star remains behind you to the south. Sailors who frequent the seas of Denmark and Norway say that northwards, beyond Norway, there is Iceland. Further ahead, there is an island named Greenland, where the polar star remains behind you towards the south. The governor of this island is a bishop. In this land, there is neither wheat, nor wine, nor fruit. People live on milk, meat, and fish. They dwell in subterranean houses, and do not venture to speak loudly or to make any noise, for fear that wild animals will hear and devour them. There live huge white bears which swim in the sea and bring shipwrecked sailors to the shore. There also live white falcons capable of great flights, which are sent to the Emperor of Cathay. Further westward, there is another land named Markland, where giants live. In this land, there are buildings with such huge slabs of stone that nobody could build with them except huge giants. There are also green trees, animals, and a great quantity of birds. However, no sailor was ever able to know anything for sure about this land or about its features. From all these facts, it is clear that there are settlements at the Arctic Pole. So, right, this is pretty unambiguous. While the details appear to be slightly garbled, the parallels with the Norse saga traditions are clear, and there's really no reason whatsoever to think that Galvano is talking about somewhere other than the Norse Markland. So, why is this such a big deal? Well, this is the first mention of Markland ever found outside of Scandinavia. If you asked me even just 2 weeks ago, before I read this, whether medieval people broadly knew about Vinland and the surrounding islands, I'd have told you no. The farthest south that we have in attestation other than this is from Adam of Bremen, writing around 1070 in northern what is now Germany. But his texts were not widely circulated, and all the other stories we have about Leifur Eriksson are from Iceland. Now though, the story is a little less clear. Galvano lived in Milan, but claims he heard about Markland from Genoese sailors. There doesn't appear to be a reason to doubt this, as Chiesa gets into in the article, so for now let's assume that it is true. This then suggests a cross-continental oral tradition, as Scandinavian or Greenlandic sailors told stories to Genoese sailors who carried them back to the ports of Genoa and told them to people walking by or students there. It's so tantalizing to think about that oral tradition, and this is the first trace of it that exists. So hopefully, now that we know that we should be looking for it, we start to discover more traces that have survived. And just so many questions are opened up by this discovery. Galvano mentions that Greenland's white gyrfalcons were exported to China. That's what kate means in the text. So was there a thought that Markland is somehow near the east? Probably not. But if it is a widespread tale, did anyone consider trying to go visit Markland and be that first sailor who knows something for sure about it? And then of course the big one, since it's Genoa, a century and a half later, did Columbus hear stories about this Markland when he was growing up? I'll conclude with a warning on that topic. Knowing about a place called Markland, of course, isn't the same as knowing about the Americas. There's no evidence in the Norse material, nor in this news source, that Markland is seen as anything other than an island in the subarctic. So even if Columbus had heard about Markland alongside all of the other traditions circulating in Genoa about what lay to the west in the ocean, there is truly nothing to suggest he expected to run into it by sailing basically along the equator, or knew that it was part of a larger landmass. Even so though, this is a massively significant find and opens up a ton of new questions about the oral traditions derived from an insignificant, short-lived colony on the edge of North America, and I am so excited by that.